Right guys, so along with Alien Day, I'm sure many of you were in attendance at various events across the world, put on by local movie theatres or even those lucky enough to be in attendance at the Fox event in LA. I was lucky enough to be in attendance at the Fox London event, and much like you other lucky people, I was shown Alien Covenant footage, primarily the Neomorphs. Now obviously spoilers for all of this ahead guys, so click off if you do not want to be spoiled. However, I will say this, I have no images and I'm only going to be discussing what I saw. What was shown was across what looked like 2 scenes in the film, very short, roughly 5 to 10 minutes of footage, so realistically I'm unable to spoil much. First and foremost, I want to say just how impressed I was. The footage has instilled in me a great deal of confidence about Alien Covenant, and I absolutely cannot wait to see this film now, even more so than before. In the footage, we get a look at the crew interacting. They are discussing the beacon they have intercepted and are prepping to land on the planet. There are several exchanges and general banter, which is great. I was kind of concerned over Danny McBride and how his performance would go down, but I held back judgment as I know comedic actors turned serious generally always go down well, and overall I was really impressed. We see his levity and jokey character, which is nice. The way he interacts is what you would expect based off of his crew message. However, later we get some of that serious flavour seeping through, and it was impressive. To me, anyway. The crew board the dropship and get ready. We see them disembarking and the process surrounding that. The entry of the dropship is really something. They are bringing back the aliens feel of the Colonial Marines dropping down on LV-426. It's not a smooth descent onto the planet, it's stormy, and we have seen this in the trailers, but obviously they land unharmed. Flash forward to the real meat of the scenes. Sometime later, the crew has been exploring, and I'd imagine they have found the crashed Juggernaut at this point. We get Ferris picking up an intercom message about a crew member, Ledward, bleeding, being carried back for med treatment. Quarantine is mentioned and protocols. We see some pretty gruesome amounts of blood being coughed up all over Corrine. Ferris is extremely unnerved by this, clearly spotting an infection of some type, and continuously mentions protocols and not to touch anything. We see her taking off gloves, putting on gloves, throwing items away as the crewman is took into the med bay. This is when things get really serious. We see Ledward violently shaking, almost in a seizure-like state. Copious amounts of pain clearly being experienced here. This is basically the scene we have been shown in the trailer of the Backburster, but the way this creature erupts is just something else. I was left physically uncomfortable. The tension they built into this scene was superb. There are back and forths and exchanges. Ledward's top is removed and his back is exposed, and we begin to see it. We see the initial spines burst out, causing a spray of blood onto Ferris's face, and she runs off to communicate to Aurum, again hurrying him up in hysteria. She locks Corrine in the medbay for quarantine procedures and through fear. Obviously, understandably terrified, Corrine begs and shouts to be let out. And that is when it happens. The Backburster, the Neomorph, from what I could see, it rips its way through the host's back with the spines on its own back. The effect is true body horror. It's captured the essence of the original chestburster scene whilst also being fresh. It ripped through a massive spillage of blood and either host's organs or some form of placenta that the Neomorph uses in the host all over the floor. The fact it breaks through the host's spine, it leaves a limp and lifeless corpse after birthing. The body of Ledward keeled over like a rag doll, and we see the Neomorph begin to rouse. Ferris runs off to get a gun and Corrine gets a knife. The Neomorph, chirping and chattering, notices its prey and launches. The way this creature attacks is incredible. It's so small, it was only the size of Corrine's face, and it mauled, clawed, bit and ferociously attacked until all you could see was blood all over its victim. It was persistent and feral, extremely animalistic. We get to see how the dropship blows up, which is due to Ferris trying to kill the Neomorph, but then we were shown the throatburster. Again, another Neomorph. The crew member is being dragged back, presumably to the dropship for treatment, and begins coughing up blood in the wheat field. We then see this lump of meat, or what looked like anyway, erupt from his mouth and throat. Blood, again, absolutely everywhere, and the Neomorph slides off his body and onto the ground before coming out of its birth sac and running into the wheat field. The crew just look on, stunned, horrified. So the way these things looked, yes, it was CGI. However, was I impressed? Yes. Again, the music, the acting, the tone they have managed to set in these scenes was incredible. I was sat there watching, though I couldn't look away. I felt uncomfortable, impressed, happy and disgusted all at the same time. Impressed by what I was seeing, happy that this was what they had managed to achieve, and uncomfortable and disgusted because it was horrific. They have managed to bring true body horror back to the Alien franchise in a big way. I think you will all be very impressed. The effects they had displayed in the trailers weren't fully completed by the looks of it, and it does seem they've done some touch-up work. If the touch-up work continued on to the full-size Neomorph as well, we are in for a massive treat. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this snippet of what I saw on Alien Day. If you were lucky enough to watch it, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Did I sum it up well? I didn't bring a pen and paper, so this is all from memory and a pretty long day, so I hope I did it justice. Suffice to say, guys and gals, my anticipation for Alien Covenant is sky high. My confidence it will be a good film is equally as high though. All I can say is bring on May 12th. If you did enjoy this video, then please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel for more in the future. If you want to follow me on social media, the links are in the description box. I've been Mr. H, and until next time, I'll catch you in the comments section.